Hello, everybody. It's Karen, and I'm here today. It is Monday. It is April 20th, and I'm so thrilled we made it to another Monday. We made it to another week. And today, as many of you know, I often set aside Mondays for all information about the market. And I think what's most important about these times is that you stay informed about what's going on, both on a national level and in addition to the local market in New York City. So today I wanted to share with you just a few of my favorite tools that I use, including certain websites, as well as some stats about the local New York market. And then I wanted to introduce you to my personal website where you can actually search from home, search for a new home from your home. So we've now been in shelter in place. I think we just finished our 5th week, so we're entering our 6th week. At least in New York City, we are on shelter in place until the 15th of May. So we have about 25 more days to go. Seems like a lot, but I think it'll be here before we know it. So basically, just to start this all out, everything that I've been learning, I've been listening to a lot of economists and analysts, reviewing a lot of charts, and everything that I'm going to be sharing with you today is based on predictions that they are sharing with us and with me, and then I want to share a few of my thoughts based on that so that I can properly advise you. So I'll probably be talking for about 20 minutes or so. I will make this available on YouTube, and I will be chopping it up for different sources as well, so you can tune in a little bit later. So the first thing that I want to do, again, I want to talk about the national, what's going on nationally and some predictions, as well as what's going on locally in the New York City market, and then introduce you to my website. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I want to start out with just a few things that you need to know, or some of the actual tools that I've been using when it comes to how I'm staying current on the local market. Sorry, just triggered a shifting of something. Okay, so first of all, what I want to talk about is in terms of where we are and where we were when we entered this market. So we've entered this market at an extremely different place than we did the earlier recession of 2008. And obviously back from 2001 as well. So, so this is a tool. This is one of my favorite sites. It's called Keeping Current Matters. This is actually just their Instagram page. I thought this was really helpful because it has some comments as well as charts. So as you can see here, as opposed to 2008, where we went in with extremely high inventory, we had, months of inventory. We had about 11 months of inventory, and slowly, so this is right when it peaked. Now we have about 3 months of inventory. In many markets, we have seen a seller's market. So if you just think about the difference between where we entered the last recession, which was triggered by housing, and this market, which is absolutely not triggered by housing, we are in a much healthier place when it comes to real estate, okay? Another chart that I wanted to share, and I'm going through this fairly quickly, is unemployment and unemployment projections. Let's remember, and I'm just going to read this. Let's remember, when looking at unemployment rates, it's about length as much as it is about depth. The unemployment rate will be bad this year. Keep in mind, it's at about 15% now. What does that mean? It means that 85% of people are still working. 85% of people. So let's put this into perspective, okay? However, jobs will likely come back unless there's a major financial crisis, which we know that we're in one, and we just have to get through it. But as soon as we are healthy, remember, all of this was triggered by a health issue, not a housing issue, right? So we might be in a recession, but it was not caused by housing. And hopefully, once we're all healthy again, we will be getting back to work, which should trigger a drastic reduction in that unemployment as the years go on. As you could see here, it's 15% now. Obviously, we don't know where that's going to go, but they are predicting about 6 to 8% next year, 5% followed by 4%. So this is a pretty healthy projection that I can see. Then this last one is about buyer and seller expectations. Now, many of my clients and many of you out there, and I'm talking with a lot of brokers on a regular basis, a lot of buyers are starting to pull out of deals, or they are trying to renegotiate their contracts mid-contract. This might be right before they sign a contract. It might be after they get into contract or in escrow in your market. But this is a recent survey from the National Association of Realtors, of real estate agents, where we've got most buyers, 63% of buyers are expecting lower prices, and 72% of sellers have not lowered their prices. Put that into perspective here, okay? This is all based on expectation. What we know to keep a market moving is that buyers' expectations have to align with sellers' expectations. And right now, those expectations, a lot of them are based on this huge unknown of what's going to happen in the future. But what we do know is that there are still buyers out there who need to buy, who need to move now or in the near future. There are still sellers who need to sell now or in the future. It's all based on motivation, right? That has not changed. Your motivation dictates how much you often will pay for a home. Now, you have some sellers who simply do not have the right tools to properly market their property. So in some cases, buyers may choose to take advantage of that. However, there are buyers out there that are still going to say, I at least want to see a video before I buy. If the seller is not working with a broker that has all the tools that they need, from video, 3D tours, whatever that might be, even proper photos, right? I mean, let's start with like the basics. There are still a lot of agents out there who aren't even using proper photos. Then those listings will sit on the market a little bit longer. Things are not flying off the market these days. Deals are definitely taking more time to get through the process. But what we have seen is right now, more than ever, who you work with matters. And the resourceful people are the ones that are going to come out ahead. Not just the resourceful sellers and buyers who choose to work with a quality agent, but we've got resourceful inspectors. We've got the resourceful appraisers who are now allowed to do drive-by appraisals or appraisals from their home just using photos. Again, more of a reason why photos are so important. So we do have a lot of different tools out there that we can use. And again, the resourceful people will come out of this ahead. So I hope these charts were helpful from a national level. We're not seeing this fire sale. And I don't think we are going to see the fire sale. There's another chart, unfortunately, let me see if I can find it here. This is what many are predicting, right? In terms of what the recovery will be. The major financial institutions are foreseeing a V-type recovery with positive GDP growth happening in the third quarter. While we don't know how long this will last, we can be confident that when the threat of the virus declines, experts believe the economy will bounce back. So we don't know about how long that'll be, or just how deep it'll go and how much it'll go up and what angle, but they're not exactly predicting a U, much like we've seen in some other recessions. Again, this was all caused by a health crisis. As soon as we are deemed healthy, this should go relatively back to a normal pace. And people, what I predict is people will want to sell, they will want to buy, they will want a change of lifestyle, and that's just something we're going to have to wait for. Right? So now I want to share a little bit with you about the local market. And for this, I love a website called UrbanDigs. Again, that was called Keeping Current Matters. You're welcome to follow them on Instagram and on Facebook. That's my dear friend, Steve Harney. Thank you so much to Steve for putting out some amazing content. But now I want to talk about the local market. So this, like I said, is a website called UrbanDigs. And this provides, they have a ton of charts here where we can get a real great snapshot of what's going on in the market. So the first one that I want to show you is the supply. As you can see here, we have dropped 19.3% from last month and 29.3% from the prior year. Now this stat, this supply stat, does update every day. Okay, there are a lot of stats that we have in New York City in particular because of how long deals take to process, that there is a major lag. But in this chart, I'm going to run it for all of Manhattan, market-wide, all price points, all property types, and all sizes. If you have any questions about your particular market, please let me know. I'm happy to run the stats for you. But I think that this will give you a general sense of what's going on. Now, my dear friend Noah Rosenblatt, who runs UrbanDigs, tells me that we should run this from a three-year timeline. Now, as you can see here, from 2018, you'll see that there's we can predict pretty well what's going on in the market. You see in January, inventory is at a low. As we get closer to the spring, inventory peaks. During the summer, this is where people say, bye-bye, I'm going to the beach. Then they come back around Labor Day, right? There's Labor Day, and then it comes back up until the end of the year. It's fairly predictable, right? Here's the same. Inventory goes up. We get into the summer. Now the summer is going on. They say bye-bye, Labor Day, and now it starts to come back up. Now, in this year, what we saw happen was it started to go up. We were doing really well. And then right there, March 11th, which is more or less right around the time when we realized that something was going on and we needed to really shelter in place, the inventory drastically dropped. Every other year, it's gone up, right? But now inventory is dropping. Now, why is that happening? Well, for many people, like I said, they simply don't have the tools to properly market an apartment. Number two, many buildings are not letting anybody in other than residents. So no access, oftentimes no videos. For many, management companies are simply not working. That means, why would I put my home on the market? Now, I do have something to say about this, and I want to go back to a different chart here to show you one of the stats that I think is really important right now, and this is the off-market inventory, okay? Off-market, again, I'm gonna do Manhattan, market-wide, all price ranges, all property types, condo, co-op, and townhouses, and all bedrooms. We're gonna generate the chart. Again, we're gonna look at the 3-year, though I don't know if this one is so important, but what we see here is that this number is going up, 1.8% year to date, 10.3 from last month, and 15.9 from last year. Off market simply means these listings came off the market. They never got into contract. They might have gone into contract, but they weren't properly inputted that way. But these are all those apartments that came off the market when buildings wouldn't allow brokers in, when management companies shut down. This is where that inventory is. So if we look at this as a number, we've got 4,900, almost 5,000. And you could see here, again, scroll down. So you could see our off market was doing pretty well. And then all of a sudden it went way up, right? Because more apartments were starting to come off the market. So here we have almost 5,000 off market, but then let's go back to the active and what's on the market. We're at about 5,000 here. So that is approximately 10,000 homes that are still potentially still on the market. They might not be actively on the market, but these are potentially 10,000 sellers who need to sell. So that's a lot of inventory. So those are listings, especially all those off market, are not listings that you will see listed on any website, okay? Now that is where a really savvy broker will come in and they will do some research, call those agents, see if those sellers still need to sell, and this is how deals can still be made, okay? Again, all of this matters. Who you work with matters, right? Another thing that I want to show you, and this is where stats are very kind of, you can't always rely on the stats because these numbers are drastically changing and they're changing every day. And we are dealing with a lot of numbers right now. This one is the, let's actually go to the pending sales. All right, that's a little itch. So again, Manhattan market wide. I can search any small neighborhoods, any price points in particular, but I want to keep this pretty general for you. So this is the pending sale. So this is what happens when an apartment goes from active to in contract. So here we've got our stats, it's up. The pending sales are up to 2.5%. They're down 4.3% from last month, and they're down 6.7% from last year. Now, why are they going up? Well, we think they're going up because there's less inventory on the market. So those serious buyers who are still needing to buy are still transacting. It's going up small, right? We will see where we are. We're almost at the end of the month, so this will be a really interesting number to track. But that's like year to date, right? Compared to last month, down 4.3%. Again, why is it down? Because fewer apartments on the market, right? Fewer apartments on the market, fewer actual sales are happening. Kind of makes a lot of sense, right? This is all very logical. The market pulse. So this is the pending to active ratio as of yesterday. So that's just the ratio of those two stats that I showed you, those two charts that I showed you. And I think what's really fascinating about this is it generally gives us an idea of what kind of market we're in. Now this shows we're in a seller's market, right? Now many of you might be saying, but we were really in a buyer's market, and I just want to remind you that this is market wide. So there are those, entry-level homes where yes, there are a lot of deals going on, and it might not be such a it might not be such a seller's market because the buyers, it might not be such a buyer's market because there are more buyers in that range, but we have to remember that this also encompasses all of those luxury new developments out there. So this is also a stat that needs some explanation. We can't just say, oh, it's a seller's market, and now all sellers think, oh, buyers are just going to pay what they want to pay. We really do need to dive into what these numbers are. And again, these stats are off because our inventory numbers are off, right? They're just fewer people actually transacting right now. So with that being said, the last part of this session is I want to introduce you to my personal website. It is Karen-Stone.com. Now, many of you may have been on a site previously that I've had, and I still have access to that site, but this is my new website. I am actually getting a new one soon, but what I want to show you is how you can search properties both in the New York area as well as global listings. So all you do here is hover over search properties, and here you have access to all of the listings. So this is a direct feed from the Sotheby's website, which gets a direct feed from the Real Estate Board of New York and their feed, which is called RLS. So you will see listings here from all different firms like Brown Harris Stevens, Corcoran over here, Keller Williams, right? All different price points. And again, our numbers compared to many of you out there with an MLS, our numbers are a little off, but we here have 5,278 listings found compared to UrbanDigs, which has 5,000. We know that there is a little bit of a lag, but you know what? This is a great place that you can go. And if you have any questions about any of the listings you see here, you can absolutely reach out to me. If you are searching anywhere else in the world and want to see what we have available globally, this is a direct feed. It is only to Sotheby's listings, and I'm just going to let this thing load up here. It seems to be taking a little bit of time, but you can see listings if you're interested in moving down to Florida or Colorado or France or wherever it may be, Austin. I've got a lot of agents that I'm connecting with over this time all over the world, and I promise you there is great inventory out there. I'm just going to show you a few of my favorites. Here you've got, who wouldn't love to live in the Bahamas right now? Only $8.5 million for 15,000 square feet. Oh my goodness. what can 8.5 million buy you in New York City? I promise not as much as you can buy in the Bahamas. Who wants to move with me? These are just some markets that I'm particularly interested in, but you can absolutely search any area that you want. And again, in other markets, there is more inventory. I know brokers, I'm going to stop sharing this. I know brokers who are still transacting because they can get access to their listings. You know, they can be doing drive-bys, they can be doing videos, they can get a videographer in. Like I said, in New York City, it's not always possible. So we do have our limitations. We are still working to make deals happen, and I would love to be here to help you. So that is your Market Monday. If you have any questions about the market, whether it's the local market, the national market, or you just want to talk about real estate in general, I've just introduced you to 3 different tools. Again, it's Keeping Current Matters, which you can follow on Facebook and on Instagram. UrbanDigs, which is another website. I believe you have to register for it, but if you have questions about your particular market, you just let me know and I'm happy to run stats for it. And then you can search for a home from your own home on my website, Karen-Stone.com. I'm going to leave you all here. I hope you all stay healthy, stay safe, and stay home. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.